Welcome back to Growing Your Savings Using Blue Chip Stocks. Today is January 9th and we are beginning the second year. Prices were updated on Friday. Things are looking better so far and we have ended the first 2 weeks on an upswing. We're going to check in with our listing of Canadian stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange and our US stocks on the New York Stock Exchange on the NASDAQ, as well as my 4 fantasy TSX portfolios to see how they're doing. Our $5,000 portfolio starts the year up 3%. Our $10,000 portfolio starts the year up 1%. Our $25,000 portfolio also starts up 1%. And our $100,000 portfolio, which closely reflects the TSX as a whole due to the variety of stocks in the portfolio, starts the year up 2%. We will also take a look at the income generated by all 4 portfolios. Dividend payouts remain stable despite a poor market. And I'll show you how I use the dividend revenue to buy more stock. This raises the total annual payout. The more stocks you own, the more dividend income you receive. Remember, you are in this to grow your savings and your stocks are paying dividends. Blue chip stocks are a slow and steady growth. You aren't going to get rich overnight, but the earlier you start investing, the more you will gain in the long run. The things to remember: the prices on the stock market will go up and down with the economy and world events. With blue chip stocks, the dividends are fairly secure. They will pay out at the same rate no matter the value of the stock. Dividends can be used to buy more stock. Dividing your money evenly into each of the 5 sectors shown will create a stable portfolio. When one commodity goes down, the others tend to go up. And when the market takes a tumble, and it will take a tumble, this is when you buy. Either add cash or reinvest your dividends. And just as a reminder, this is for information purposes only, and I take no responsibility for any gains or losses you experience in the market. So since we are starting the second year, if you haven't been following me and you're new to this, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Every stock shown in my list I actually own. I'm Canadian and I have invested in blue chip stocks since 1983. I started with a little more than $20,000 and I have grown this by an amazing 7,300% in 40 years. I've added cash savings every year of my life. Some years I added a little less when I was raising young kids, or I was lower on the totem pole at work, and sometimes I was out of work. Some years I was able to save aggressively once my kids were raised and when I had a great savings plan at work. I pay attention to my portfolio at least once a month, and I let my stocks ride. I buy, but I rarely sell. So taking a look at our Canadian portfolio, I have added a new column for the percentage of 2023, and you'll be able to see how it grows in this month or in this year. So manufacturing and industry is up 2% already this year. It didn't do too badly last year, up 6% as an average. Consumer goods and services ended the year minus 1%. We're up 1% now. Finance, if you've been following, you know that finance had a very rough year. It was down 13% in 2022, and we're now up 2% in the first 2 weeks of 2023. Resources and commodities had a great year last year, up 33% over the course of the year. In the first 2 weeks of the year, we're just showing a minor loss of minus 1%. So prices have just dropped off a little bit, but we'll see how that gains over the rest of the year. Utilities ended the year minus 4%. They are now at 2%. So the Canadian market, the stocks that we're following, are up 2% already in 2023. On the US side, the US had a much tougher year last year. Manufacturing and industry ended the year at minus 14%. We are up 4% already in the first 2 weeks. Consumer goods and services ended the year down 4%, and we're now up 5%. Finance had a terrible year in the US, down 26%. But as I mentioned over the course of the year, that was definitely the time to buy your finance stocks. They will come back, and they are already showing some pretty good gains. We're solidly in the green and up 4%. Resources and commodities ended the year down 11%, and we are now up 4%. Utilities up 2%, which is better than it finished the year at, or finished 2022 at down 16%. So the US market is already showing a 4% gain in the first 2 weeks of the year. So taking a look at our $5,000 portfolio, we are up 3% already in 2023. We have a total value of $4,938. That's up $283 from last week, and we're climbing back up again. We are only down $145 on the portfolio overall. So the dividend income, you will see that in Bank of Nova Scotia is highlighted in red. I took the dividend income and I bought 3 more shares of Bank of Nova Scotia. We ended the year with $210, and that allowed me to buy the 3 shares. So that buying 3 more shares has increased our dividend income already. So for January, we are looking at an annual payout of $222.52. And if you followed me last year, you will know that that will increase over the year. In our $10,000 portfolio, we are up 1% already in 2023. We are sitting at $10,602. It's a gain of $489 from last week, and we have gained $767 overall since the beginning of 2022. With our dividend income, I bought shares in Canadian Tire and Bank of Nova Scotia. I took our annual income or annual dividend income of $391.74, and I bought 2 shares of Canadian Tire and 1 share of Bank of Nova Scotia. Adding those into our portfolio has now increased our annual payout to $409.66 over the course of the year. Our $25,000 portfolio, we are already up 1%. So we are sitting at $25,447, which is a gain of $2,396 from last week. That also takes into account the increase in shares that I have bought. That's $588 more than we started at the beginning of 2022. So our dividend income was $776, and with that I bought 5 shares of Fortis, 4 shares of Ovintiv, and 4 shares of CIBC. That raised our annual dividend payout to $804.90, up from $776 that we ended the year at. In our $100,000 portfolio, you can see I bought SNC-Lavalin, Saputo, CIBC, Cenovus, and TC Energy. I bought 1 stock in each of the 5 sectors. So our total value this week is $97,577. That's an increase of $7,886 from last week, and it is the overall portfolio is just down $980 now. If you remember back in November, we were down $3,000, and I think we were down even more at some point. We were down $9,000 back in October. So we have come back to just under $1,000 loss on this portfolio. So hopefully this year will be a little bit better. Taking a look at the dividend income, we ended the year with $2,674.66. So I bought 20 shares of SNC-Lavalin, 15 shares of Saputo, 14 shares of CIBC, 31 shares of Cenovus, and 14 shares of TC Energy. That has increased our dividend cash to $2,783.24 annually. So we will grow that over the course of the year, and we will do the same thing at the end of 2023. We will reinvest those dividends and grow the portfolio. So right now we're looking at a 2% increase in the $100,000 portfolio, and let's look forward to next week and let's see if we can increase that and we can increase the value of our portfolio. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next week.